Okay, so now we're in another neighborhood. So this is Carlton, and I think this is George Street. Oh, Ontario. Oh, Ontario and Carlton. We're going to Akasha Art Projects. So, oh, Knuckle. And this is Hazelle's spot. And of course, we're going at the end when things are wrapping up.
Not much going on, but like it's beautiful. Like, you know, like it's like I love that you know, like
There she is. Hello. Hi. I'm I made it. I made it. I missed a lot of people, I'm sure. Yes. But I thought I'd start to come and catch the end.
Oh, please,
Yeah.
glad to see you.
Look at the work.
Yes, thank you.
I don't know how, like you were doing this in the background, eh? How would you describe the show? What would you say about the show for you?
This show is
And I'm doing a gorilla thing here.
well, you know, it looks back after the last 4 years and really focuses on women because I love women and because I want to show their power, their resilience, their diversity. And so when Jim and I were sort of looking at what would we focus on for this collection, we thought, let's focus on women. So going back over the last few years in different collections and then pulling out portraits that capture moments, right?
Right,
Because I
right.
think that my work sort of captures moments, and each of these pieces has a story behind it. And I'm always intrigued when people look at my pieces that it triggers something for them. And that's familiar. There's something that's familiar to them. And I think that that's wonderful when I hear that. And for me, it's always the result of something that's happened or something that I'm experiencing or something that I feel strongly about. And art is a way for me to voice that. It's a platform for that voice. So anyway, this is Seeing Women, and it celebrates our resilience, our strength, our power, our joy, our sadness, a myriad of different emotions. But I think overall, I like that the women that I feature are powerful, and because I think Black women are very powerful.
And how would you describe your technique? Because you've got a particular, unique, distinct technique.
So I sort of evolved into collage, and what I love about collage is that it's a layering, and I think it's a bit of a metaphor for our identity. Right? I think we're more than just one thing. I think there are many things that layer into who we are, and so I use paper, I use acrylic, charcoal, sometimes anything I can get my hands on, depending on the piece, to really make whatever is going on in my head come to life, right? And so I love working with paper. A lot of the paper that I use is Japanese, so-called Japanese paper. It's a little porous. It adheres to wood a little bit better, so I've been using that a lot. But still, even though it's so-called Japanese paper, they're very African-inspired papers, right? Like they don't look necessarily like they're foreign to me. They're familiar, and I've been also using stenciling in some of my work recently as well, and so yeah, collage. You know, who knew? It's been 30 years of evolving to that.
And it's paper. I'm just realizing that because I've seen your work over the years, but I just thought, oh, it's painting, whatever, interesting, kind of like, you know, detail, like pointillist kind of thing that you're doing, but then you're saying no, this is, and then now I'm looking, I'm seeing it.
Yes, yes.
I'm seeing the layering. Right, and the whole idea of layering makes sense too because of layered lives, that of moments and people,
Exactly.
right?
And this piece, and there's a couple other pieces in this collection that are based on my trip to Ghana. It's my first time to Africa. It was transformational for me, really grounding, I think, for me. And this piece that I was really inspired by my trip to the coast.
Right.
And watching, of course, where, our ancestors left from the continent to come to the West. But I think what was familiar to me is that that's not the only place in which Black families were really separated and changed, and immigration, I think, is also part of that. It's another layer so many years later of breaking up Black families and people standing at the shore or at the airport and saying goodbye, right? And how that has really changed who we are and how we exist and how we connect and what family looks like for us here. And we know that when you finally are reconnected with those families that you leave behind, there's so many years that have passed, so many different experiences, and it's almost like meeting strangers, right? And so this piece is called Gone. And so yes, it is inspired by the transatlantic trade that our ancestors are part of, but that's not the only way in which the Black family has been fractured. So I wanted to sort of capture that moment and pay homage to that, and being there in Ghana and experiencing that. What an emotional moment. Like, people were in tears, I was in tears, and you kind of have to think, oh my God, I can't even believe that we're here. I cannot even believe, because before they even got onto a ship, when you look at the conditions under which they were enslaved, I'm like so grateful and so honored, and I think we have an obligation to really respect them and to stand on their shoulders, to pay homage to them. So I do that through my art as one of the ways in which I do
It makes me think about how, for African Americans, particularly right now with what's happening in their country, but always what's happening to us everywhere and anywhere, right, is how at a certain time you always go, if all the things we've always been coming through, and as you said, we're here. We're still here. That scene at the end of Color Purple,
Yes.
I am here.
Yes.
Still, right? In spite of all of that's been done. So even when all this stuff is happening, you're like, we're still going to be here. But at the same time, some of us who are in organizations, buildings, it's funny, I'm doing some consulting work with another organization where I'm Black, supporting people's health, mental health, primary care, social services and so on. We at the same time have to make sure we build systems and structures to make sure to support our people to be less traumatized.
Yes.
It's like when we talk about decolonize what? Because it's a colonial environment. Don't you tear it all down and start all over.
Exactly.
But what somebody said to me once is like, decolonizing. The expert says, I'm not decolonizing anything. I'm simply reducing harm.
Yes.
And that's really what our work always is. And then when we get real about that, it's like, no, I'm not going to knock down everything.
Yes.
It's a big goal.
Yes.
But ultimately, in the meantime, even to take care of our own wellness, to do all of that,
Exactly.
it's like, what are the things in our lives to, make sure that, even though we're going to go through it, because we've been down, like, there's lots of damage that's been done. Because we come out of it, but, we have parents who are like, unable to, and we've had to work with ourselves too in our therapy on what's going on, because it's all been intergenerational. Because to have survived that in those, I was there, right, on the Cape Coast, right, in the dungeons, right, where they held us and at the door of no return, and you think, children were there. So I remember when they said, we said, why is the ceiling so low here? Oh, this is where the kids were held. We're like, you mean my ancestor could have been a child who was taken? So may not even be, so when you're asking your parents, can you tell me what happened?
Yes.
They may not even have real memory or a language for it, right? So even that alone, and so you realize what's the impact then intergenerationally for our families from that? What are we carrying? What are we not carrying? What are we holding? What is lost memory? What is also, grieving for parents who suddenly disappeared from our lives?
Yes, exactly. It was such an important and transformational trip for me.
Yeah.
And I think because, being born in the UK, growing up in Canada, not having the same kind of connections to the Caribbean, you know, I just couldn't get over being there and feeling so familiar. At some point, I must say, I stood up in the road and went, I could be in Jamaica right now. Like, it was like, this is so familiar.
Yes.
You know, and it was so, like, amazing to have that kind of resonance. But, and then art is the way in which I think I express that. But, yeah, it was really truly
And when you
wonderful.
describe that, for me, it's like wherever people of African descent are, wherever I've traveled, so all across the Caribbean. I mean, I'm not Caribbean. I'm like, oh, you know, it almost throws me off to being like Barbados or Trinidad or whatever, because I'm like, but it feels like, oh, that's Jamaica, but they're talking that accent.
Yes,
oh,
yes.
and like, and so it makes me actually pine for Jamaica more,
Yes,
because I'm like,
yes.
oh, but it's not, right?
Yes.
But it is.
Yes.
And it's not, because we are, and in Brazil, I remember being in Salvador, we're sitting on the restaurant at the hotel, we're sitting sort of watching people in the local, because it's in the local neighborhood, and we said, oh my God, that looks like Uncle so-and-so or Cousin so-and-so, or that could be Hazelle. Was that Camille? Like,
Yes.
you watch it, same in Ghana, right? People are walking by you with that body language, that
Yes.
body rhythm, and you're going, here we are showing up in African America, go to certain American, Harlem, Brooklyn, there we are. There's familiarity, right?
Yeah.
And the importance then of wherever we go in the world. So I always say to people when I land somewhere, it's like, we're, you know, my question's always, we're the black people.
Yeah.
You know, and then if you know, so, well, we're the queer people, then we're the black, like we're the people that word you said, resonance.
Yes.
That makes me feel, okay, I might be safe and okay here, because there's some people here who figured out this shit
Yes,
of how to
exactly.
survive here, and I want to be connected to them, because if anything goes down, my people are here to be with me,
Yes,
right?
yes.
It's like the woman who was mixed race, who grew up in Russia, moved to the States, decided to go back to Russia because she thought it's going to be safer than America. But then she ended up hitting racism, and she said, oh my God, I'm looking around me and there's not enough of us around to at least have a place of community to support me to move through this.
Yes.
I'm less. There's less of us. I'm more isolated. So as bad as America might be, the people there have, and it's bad, but the people there have built community in ways that will help me and my kids, because she had young children who were being attacked.
Exactly.
And suddenly she's like, who do I go to? Who do I turn to? Who understands? Who connects? Right? So it's such a constant, powerful metaphor of how we're building, finding community.
Yes, I think it's important to do that, and I hope that, I don't know, I think I want my work to add to the narrative around Black women's lives and experiences, you know, because I think there are artists that are doing such amazing work, and so it's nice to be able to add to that narrative and to make our lives more visible, because we're amazing and we're powerful and we're resilient, and every day we face so many different forms of discrimination, anti-Black racism, and I'm always amazed and so honored, right, that people keep walking through,
Yes.
you know, this piece, which is sort of walking through the water, you know, like many rivers to cross, and it's actually based on a memory of mine from growing up in England, and when I was a child, having the kids push me down in the schoolyard to see if the bottom of my feet were black too. And so I wanted to do a piece that actually was about that, you know, that this is a memory that can be a very traumatic memory, but actually she's very powerful moving through the water. She's very purposeful. She's not, she's, you know, there's sort of tears in her eyes, but she marches forward. And I think that that's what we do. I think we carry a lot on our shoulders, but we keep walking through the water. And it's called resilience, because I think we have to be very resilient people in order to survive. And so there's a lot of strength from that. But it was a memory that I had. It happened to me in England. And so it was there somewhere in the vault. And it came out, and I dedicated this piece to that. So I think each of my pieces, there's a bit of a story always behind it.
I should come back one day and just hang with you and walk me through.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
and so
And how long is it up for, just so people know?
to the it's up until October 22nd.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so a little while for people to come by and take a look.
Thank you. And are there times when you'll be here when people want to come and... meet and greet with you? And-
I could make arrangements, but they can just walk in when the gallery is open. If the door is locked, they just need to ring the bell, and the staff here will let them in. But I will pop in from time to time.
Yeah.
And we're just opening night, so I'm not sure when I'm going to be back around, but I'm not too far away, as you know.
Beautiful. Thank you, Hazelle.
Thank you, darling. Oh.
It's always interesting to hit